Hello, everyone. Welcome to another ODNT Spotlight. I'm Steve DeWinter, your host, and I have with us today a wonderful author, and she is bringing to us a book. Her name is Lorinda Donovan, and she is bringing and promoting today her new book. Not new. It's been out for a couple of years now. Why did I say new? If you haven't heard it before, it's new to you. And so
exactly.
Children of Earth, which it was excellent timing for this book most recently this past year, and we'll talk some more about that. So let's go ahead and let's switch on over. Hello, Lorinda. Welcome to ODNT Spotlight.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you very much for coming on the show. So we've got your book here, Children of Earth, and tell us a little bit about what the story is about.
Well, the story is related to it's related to the actual NASA mission, New Horizons, which did its flyby around Pluto earlier this year, and is on its way out of the solar system right now, and
Heading off into space.
Yeah, I was really inspired to write it. Before that, actually, when the International Astronomers Union demoted Pluto from planet status,
Oh,
and everybody
no.
freaked out,
Poor
and everybody
Pluto.
was like, "No!"
That's my favorite
I was
planet.
I know. I was one of those people. I was very upset. So it kind of got me thinking. I was like, well, okay, they were talking about having to redefine what a planet is, and that they're still trying to figure out the definition. And so I thought to myself, like all writers do, every story starts with what if.
Yes, exactly. The big.
No, so my what if was, well, if Pluto is not a planet, then what is it?
Ooh.
So, and then New Horizons, I started hearing about New Horizons on its way out to Pluto. And I thought, hey, that would be so cool if I just, build the story around the actual mission. And that's where it started. So, and it's all about, what they actually find, which is not what they actually found.
Yeah. This is fiction, not real life.
And stuff like that. And now they're already past it. And, that was that. But, yeah, obviously for a sci-fi novel, you're going to have did find something.
We're going to find something other than a planet. They weren't wrong when they said this isn't a planet. They just didn't know how wrong they were.
Right. Exactly.
And so that was your inspiration for writing it. What was your process for writing it? This book came out in 2013?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wanted to make sure that it was finished before the actual mission reached.
So that you can ride on that wave of everyone
Yeah.
talking about New Horizons. I mean, they launched it
Yeah.
in 2006, and then everyone forgets about it.
Yes, exactly, because it takes years and years to get there, so everybody forgot that it existed. So
That's kind of like those TV shows that were like, is that still on?
I know, right? So really the process was because I'm not, I don't consider myself exclusively a sci-fi writer, especially of hard sci-fi, which is, very technical and, very meticulous about getting all the details right. So, but I didn't want to make it a complete fantasy either. So I just wanted to give it some degree of believability. So I learned what I could about the mission and about, I ended up learning about all kinds of things, like, I could probably take a tour of the inside of the International Space Station without ever having been there. It's just like, oh yeah, I know what that is. It's like, I had to learn how the launches go, and all the what I could understand, what my small brain could understand about space flight, and how it would actually work to get out into space, and what they were actually doing with the mission, what the probe actually had on it, what it could do. And so, yeah, a lot of it was learning that, and was learning all alternate, ways of space flight, what would be shutdown of the space shuttle program and everything. It was all going on at the same time. So
right. So very relevant.
Yeah, so
for
it
a
was very
sci-fi story.
So it was involving a lot of things that were really happening. So I had to, make sure I was, savvy on all that stuff, at least enough that I could sound like I knew what I was talking about.
So you had to sit down and start to research all this stuff for your book, because you're like, oh, what a great idea if Pluto isn't really Pluto. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. And then you're like, oh, man,
and then you realize here. And you're like, oh, no.
This is rocket science.
Yeah. And you realize how, kind of out of your league you are, because you're just like, I don't know higher math, man. I don't... I almost flunked out, I almost flunked out of geometry. I can't do this math.
2 + 2 is 5 for very large values of 2.
Yeah. So I just kind of focused on, I learned as much as I could about, the mission and everything else that was relevant, and then just tried to make it like every other story should be about the characters.
Now, doing all your research for New Horizons, did it make you like a super fan in July when they were actually starting to send pictures back?
I was so psyched. I was just like, I was such a dork. I acted like, it was my baby too. I felt like people at, JPL and
they're your peeps now.
And the people who were at Mission Control, I felt like them. I was just like, oh my God, this is, I was freaking out.
You're checking every photo to make sure that it really is a planet. You don't want to be right about this one.
And it was so trippy because I'm seeing pictures, of, stuff we've never seen before, because nobody's ever really gotten a good look at Pluto until now. So nobody ever really knew what it looked like, except that it was round. It was there, and it was
shiny
round.
Little spot out there.
It had a moon that was about the same size. That's about all we knew. But now we're seeing all these great pictures of it. And, you're just like, oh my God, wow, I wasn't totally wrong. When you were guessing about what geography was like and, what it might have actually looked like, when you found out that you weren't totally wrong, you felt like, oh my God.
Well, you had done so much research on it. I'm sure, you researched everything that we knew up until that point.
Which is not much. Which is really not that much until now. So,
and whew.
And, I was really psyched because I actually emailed Alan Stern, who is the principal investigator, the head of the team, and I was just like, yeah, man. And I was so psyched to get, like a little hi back from him, and he's like, oh, thanks, So it was really cool. Excellent. I felt like I had worked on it too, even though I hadn't. Yeah,
and I went and I could see that you did a lot of research for this novel. I went and I read the first complete chapter. It's on Amazon, so everyone who's watching this video on YouTube, there's all the links down below, and I have the links to Lorinda's books on Amazon and on Smashwords. And right now, and I went, and if you go to Amazon, you can see a preview of it, and you get a pretty large preview because it's a pretty big book.
Yeah. It's a lot of story.
It's a lot of story and a lot of things happening, and it sounds so good. But I read that first chapter, and I was just like totally drawn in and going, oh my goodness, even though this is about, Pluto, and we know that, aliens and all sorts of stuff is going to happen, you start out grounded with everyone trying to work at NASA and dealing with the politics of, well, we need our money elsewhere. You guys aren't that important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh man, it's so good how you draw me into it. And I really enjoyed that first chapter, and I started to read the second chapter. I'm like, okay, I got to do other research for this.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
So, by the end of the first chapter, I was sucked in. You got me in right away. So I really like that. So good, solid writing there. Yay!
Awesome. Thanks.
But yeah, so I definitely suggest, if you're watching the video here, just click on the link down below. If you're watching it embedded in another website, click on the Watch in YouTube button over there, and then click on the link to Amazon, and then just read the preview that's there. I guarantee you're going to want to pick up this book. It sounds good.
Yes. It right now.
Yeah, exactly. Do it now. Pause this video. Okay, welcome back.
Don't
Congratulations
listen to
on
me talk
your
anymore.
purchase.
Just go read it.
So what's next for you? I read some of the reviews and everything on it, and people really, really like this. But they made a comment that there is a cliffhanger at the end of this one.
Yes, there is, and I find myself having to apologize for that.
Well, you got another
because I know
7
how
years.
that feels.
You
I
have
know how
another,
that feels,
this book's been out for 2 years.
Yeah.
And so we're eagerly anticipating, waiting to see what happens next.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's just the way I work is because I write other things. Like I'm also a screenwriter. So,
ooh, nice.
And because screenwriting, I spend a lot more of my time working on scripts than I do on fiction, on novels.
On the novel narrative,
Yeah. And because screenwriting is so regimented and so micromanaged, down to the line, by other people.
Right.
This is what people don't understand about
when you work with Hollywood, and you worked in Hollywood.
Yes, I did.
For over a decade.
Yeah. And I wasn't a writer. I was in a different part of, in a different field. But, yeah. And, when you're working on scripts and you're turning them into your management and they're going out and shopping it around for you, it becomes this whole like writing by committee thing.
Everybody wants to put their stamp on it.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody wants their notes in, and it's this really difficult process of having to incorporate other people's notes and still do a story that you're proud of. So,
yeah. I've talked to a few authors.
When I do get to write novels, like with Children of Earth, I kind of just let myself go. I don't outline. I don't plot ahead. And I let the story kind of tell itself.
So you wrote this one into the dark. So you did all your research for it, for Children of Earth, but you didn't sit down and outline it.
No.
You said, I'm just going to let the story tell itself and flow.
And I know that sounds really kind of artsy fartsy and kind of,
It's a very valid way to write fiction.
It's, and I understand the value of plotting and outlining and everything, and I would never tell anybody not to do it. Absolutely. It's, but for me, because I spend so much time doing this kind of writing by committee thing where I'm being told what to write, basically a lot of the time.
Right.
When I get to do my own stuff, I just want to just write straight ahead. I don't think about where it's going to end or how it's going to end. Well, unfortunately, in this case, what happened is that when I got to the point where the book does end, I found that to continue it farther, to continue it past that point, would not only make the book extremely long, but it was also kind of the beginning of another story. And I just didn't think it was right to start then. So I ended it where I did, and I totally understand. I read the reviews and people were just like, "Oh my God, it's a cliffhanger! I'm so pissed off." It's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the story ended, and there's more.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
And there will be more when
Well, you got another 7 years to go before you reach George R.R. Martin status.
When I figure out what the more is, then I will write it.
But you're also writing...
I have not come up with a decent enough story that I feel I can go ahead with.
But you are also in very good company. Stephen King does not use outlines. He just sits down.
But he has he does have a structure. He has a system. He has a way of doing things. And one of the books that I do love is his book on writing.
Oh, yes.
Which I think anybody who's trying to be an author or who is an author should have and read. It's really good. And a lot of valid points and a great memoir.
I know. I was
What a
surprised at
story.
that part. It's half memoir, half writing advice.
I know. It's so cool. So, yes, I do understand about, people being pissed off about the cliffhanger. I would be too.
We're only upset with the cliffhanger if we can't get the next book immediately.
I know.
Otherwise, cliffhangers don't matter.
Yeah.
So,
I get it.
So you're
unfortunately, that is not the way I work.
yeah. Well, you're not just doing the novels. You're also doing screenplays, writing scripts and everything. So that takes a lot of your time away from you. There's only so many hours in the day.
Yes. Unfortunately, I end up having to spend more time on the script than I do on the novel. So it takes a long time for me to get one done.
And it's tough when they go and they send the notes back, and you're like, but that totally changes the whole point of the story. No.
And it's usually this annoying thing where you get a draft done, you send it off, and you're just like, okay, now I can get back to the novel, and then you start getting back into the novel, and you're writing, and you're getting a good flow going, and then more notes come in. And you're just like,
and now you need to set the novel aside,
yeah.
Wipe your brain
And
because it's busy and go, okay, what was I doing?
I know. People probably don't think that that's very difficult, but it is. It's you're so focused on on the task at hand, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, nope, I'm gonna go over here now.
Yeah, the term I use for that is being derailed.
Yes. That's a good term.
And the train isn't just slowed down; it is knocked fully off the track and laying on its side in the dirt.
Yeah.
It's not easy to just...
You have spilled the load, and you're totally like crashed on the side in the ditch on the side.
That's not something easy to just put right back on the track and keep going.
It takes a while to recover from that.
It's a mess. Yeah, I tried to do multiple stories at once, and it just doesn't work for me. I get derailed too easily. Ooh, shiny thing.
I don't know how any authors manage to write several stories simultaneously.
Oh, if they have several series going at once, and they're going, okay, I got 4 series, so that means I have 4 books a year coming out in all these different series.
It's just like, how do you keep it all straight? I need an assistant. I need somebody to, I'd have to hire somebody.
I need to hire writers to write all these different stories.
Exactly. So.
Excellent. So how much research goes into your scripts that you write?
It depends on the story.
So what different genre stories have you written for your screenplays? Because I know that we were talking...
I tend to gravitate towards the thrillers.
Ooh, I like thrillers.
Whether that's... I've written one that's like a heist movie. I always wanted to do a heist flick.
Oh, those are so much fun.
Yeah, they are, but they're a lot of work.
They are.
You have to figure out the heist. And you realize you have to do the planning, like you're really going to rob this bank or something like that. Oh, that's sorry.
And then the FBI starts seeing your search history as you're researching this bank, researching explosives, researching ways to cut through concrete, and they're like, "Wait a minute!"
You're like, hey.
Black helicopters coming in silent.
One that was involving the CIA, kind of not really a James Bond kind of thing, more of just a kind of a spy caper, and then the other one that I've done is something that's kind of more involving fantasy, but it's still very much a thriller, and I tend to like to do stuff that's a little scary. So
you like
I wouldn't
thrill.
consider myself like full on horror like Clive Barker or something like that, but I like scaring people. So
you go for
I like
the
to
thrill.
Be scared. I like to read a story that scares me. So
that's always fun.
What?
And and when you're writing scripts, people always think that a script is easy because it's no more than 90 to 110 pages.
Mm.
But we were talking earlier. And you have to, every word is micromanaged on a script. And you can spend weeks getting this one third of a page right.
Yeah. making sure that your acts, and I mean, you have to know act structure and beats, and when they're telling you they want act one done by this page, and then you have to figure out how to make that happen, and and still be creative.
There's the challenge.
Yeah, it's just when they don't really go together. They're making you work with this algorithm, this formula, and when creativity doesn't really work like that.
How do you create this brand new work of art when you have to color inside the lines and they told you what colors to use?
Yeah.
How do you create this original work of art?
Yeah, it's hard, but it's also fun in its own way. Once you've gotten used to how it's done, and when you're prepared to for the notes you're going to get back and the reactions you're going to have, it can be a lot of fun to write still. But it's just a very different kind of writing than writing a novel. And I don't know if a lot of people get that. But,
and then you go and you craft this big spy thriller that Tom Cruise is going to star in, and then they switch it over, and now it's Mr. Bean playing the main part. You got to change everything. It was perfect. Now you got to change it all.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of stuff that I really like. And you have to get... you have to do this with novels, but especially with scripts where there are so many other people involved. You have to learn to let your stuff go.
Yeah, check the ego at the door.
Anything. It's just like, you can be really upset inside that they cut that line or that scene, that you worked so hard on and that you really, really loved, and then they're just like,
we ran out of time.
Yeah, don't need it. Get it out.
Oh. Well, you put this chase scene in here, and that put us over on our time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, hey, this has been a lot of fun chatting with you. Before we close down the interview and everything, is there one thing that you would like people who are watching this, potential readers of your novel and the future novels and potential watchers of movies that you have written, anything you would like them to know?
Just check out the book. It's just, I find that as a self-published author, I tried to go the traditional route. I sent out queries and everything, and like so many other people, I got totally shut down or completely ignored. And then I was just like, well, okay.
Moving on, it's a whole new world out there.
I'm just going to put this out myself. I can do that thanks to Amazon and Smashwords and places like that. So, but I find the problem is it's just, getting the word out. And that's why I really appreciate you doing this.
Because of course. And that's why we have this, is to help get the word out.
It's the hardest thing, is to make people aware of your work, and I just check it out. It's a cool story. I know that if I, were looking for a book to read, I would look at, my book, no matter who wrote it, and I'd just be like, oh, that sounds real cool.
Yeah.
Because you want to write stuff that you want to read.
Yeah, it definitely sounds very cool. I know, reading just the first chapter of it, the first book that came to mind was Footfall by Lorinda.
Oh, yeah.
And Jerry Purnell, and it was just right along with that, and I'm like, this sounds so good. So you were right up there. It's so good.
Thanks. So I hope you enjoyed the rest of it, even though it's going to end on a cliffhanger, and I'm sorry about that.
You know what? I don't mind cliffhangers. As long as you get to writing.
Well, you know what I thought I'd do, and maybe this is something I can share with you. I had this kind of, in the back of my head, that when I did finally come up with a decent way to wrap up the story, because this is not something that I want to drag on and on and on for like 50 books or something like that.
This is not Battlefield Earth.
No, I'm not doing that. But when I do find a decent way to wrap it up, what I thought I would do is just write it and offer it for free for anybody who read the book.
Ooh.
And because I feel I owe it to anybody who did put the time in.
So
read it.
Show proof of purchase of Children of Earth and get the rest of it for free.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my plan right now.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. I feel I owe it to folks who put the time in, and were nice enough to read it and review it. I owe them a decent ending. So when I come up with it, you can have it.
Then they can have it. Oh, that's so nice. All right. Well, hey, thank you so very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And don't hang up just yet. I'm going to go ahead and close down the interview, and then we'll come back. We'll chat for a couple more minutes and everything. So once again, Lorinda Donovan, thank you so very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay, so again, that was Lorinda Donovan. It's trip over my own tongue here. Lorinda Donovan and her book, Children of Earth. And while this is a very exciting science fiction novel, she does not want to be pigeonholed as a science fiction author. And she does many, many different types of genres. We talked to her. She's done horror. She's done a lot of thriller and some sci-fi. So, and it's good that she wants to put out really good stories for that. And so you heard it here first. When the second book comes out, you just might be able to get that one for free if you've got Children of Earth. And that way, for those of you who are upset about cliffhangers, here's an appeasement for you. Here's to make you happy. So thank you very much for watching ODNT Spotlight. Again, I'm your host, Steve DeWinter. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We have many more authors, artists, musicians. We have a really good parody band coming on in the next month or so. So we're going to have a lot of new people that we're talking to and chatting with. It's going to be a lot of fun. So like the video, share it with everyone, subscribe to the channel, and have yourself a very great day. Bye.